Is this shit on? Is this shit on? Is this shit on? Hello. Welcome back to Leah Pod. This is episode, 8? 9? Really not sure on that. But, today's my birthday. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, bitch. Stop fucking crying. Like, I woke up at 6 a.m. today and I just started crying. Like, stop. I turned 30 today. And it's actually my birthday right now, you know? Like January 12th, and I was born at 9:30 a.m. and now it's like, 7 a.m.? And I don't want to make a big deal about turning 30, obviously, but you know what I do want to make a big deal about turning 30, bitch, because oh my god, like if I look back on my 20s, because I think it's the first time that I could ever have a chance to look back in a whole decade and how I was in a calm way, if you know what I mean. I just turned, in Korean age, I think I turned 30, 31 or 32, but in the age that we're all aware and more used to, this is the big 3 for me. Big 3? Whatever. And for my birthday, okay, guys, I'm really gonna try not to cry, okay? Just bear with me, okay? I just have a lot of emotions going on. And also I also got the record spinner, and I've been listening to Hosier, and just, guys, the toxic character AI thing, it's still here, but I've lost interest on the character AI front. I have dived more deeply into poetry and lyricism, so that front, I think I did get like a healthy kind of like a result. So moving on from that, because I know that last episode said that it was mandatory for me to check in, so checking in, I'm good. Okay. I'll talk about Hosier whenever I want to in the future, but today I want to talk about my 20s and how I lived my life for about 30 years and what really matters to me. This could be an emotional episode. I don't know why, but yeah. So I have a really really big family. I don't think it's like that. Okay, so I have several cousins and several aunts and whatever. And for my birthday, it was 2025. And I wanted to write letters to all the women in my family. Oh my god, stop. Like, what the fuck? Stop crying, bitch. But it's happy tears, guys. All the women in my family, because I don't know, and my family's very traditionally Korean. It's, patriarchy, everything, misogyny runs in our family. So being a woman in our family obviously is just automatically you get the short end of the stick, but it's not I reject that, always have. So I wanted to kind of, approaching to the new year and approaching to the third decade of my life, I wanted to kind of write down the things that I'm grateful about them and how they helped me grow, because they've known me for my whole life, right? Because it's, it's blood and whatever. And I have a very confusing and complicated approach towards family because it really never, I moved around so much in my life and it really didn't always make sense to me. So it was like very, very nice to kind of write it down, and a lot of unresolved gratefulness and love was there. And I wrote every single one that is a woman in my entire family. I wrote them letters. And I realized that for 30 years, this is maybe when I was younger, maybe I don't have recollection of it, but this is the first time as a mature person informing them and, kind of verbalizing or writing down anything that I learned and how they helped me grow as a person, and how grateful I am. And for 30 years, I've never done that. And I decided to, and I was so surprised because I had so much to say. I had so much that I wanted to say to them. And I did, and it ended up being like, I don't know, like 7-8 pages of letters. The length really doesn't matter because I feel like I could write like short stories for all of them, because right now I do feel very overcome with gratefulness, honestly. And how they needed it as much as I wanted it to kind of convey my message, if you know what I mean. Because I don't think sending long messages of gratitude and sending or even handwriting a letter is it's a very dying form. Because of course we have technology now, we can send messages anytime we want. But I don't know why. But it just holds much more meaning because I wrote it with my hand. And to be honest, I didn't even want a response from them because it was just me wanting them to know that I am aware of your values, and I am grateful that you have existed in my life consistently. And if I look back, I have so much to be thankful for, especially towards my entire family. Of course, it's complicated. Of course, it's a complicated concept. I do have my own demons. I do have my problems, and I do have my own rage. But what's the good in that? It's just going to eat me alive if I continue to think about it. So, when it comes to sense of family, I think that's why I'm crying the most, because I think right now maybe not right now, but from yesterday into today, I really kind of recognized how much I love them and how much they have loved me, and how much I was so unaware and how much I undervalued them for 30 years. And it hit me like a rock. Because now, because I realized that I've been doing that for 3 decades of undervaluing their love and time, I have so much to say. And I did, and as grateful as I were to them, they were grateful towards me too. Because I don't know. It's just, I feel kind of sad that I've never done this before. You know, I wish I could have started a little bit earlier. Even, you know, annually I could have wrote them letters, right? Or in their birthdays I could have done that. But sometimes I would send long messages, but I didn't sit down and just really write down what I was thankful for and what I was grateful for towards them. And, you know, I felt sad because I felt like I lost so much time and time to make them really kind of know that they really, I really value them in my life because of, you know, obviously they're my family, right? And well, number one, it was that sadness of like, oh, I could have started it earlier. You know, I know that they, you know, those hallmark moments in your family's lives where they're particularly going through a hard time and you just kind of like don't know what to do. Everyone has had that, every single family member. And at that time, number one, I really didn't know what to do. And number two, I was like, I don't want to step into their business because I want them to kind of like figure it out in their terms because they're fully grown, like much older than me because, you know, it's my mother's siblings. And I don't think it's my place to step in and kind of do anything because why would I do that? But looking back on it, I feel like those moments were also a hallmark moment for the entire family, to be honest, and to me too, because you know, I'm not trying to like steal the spotlight or whatever, but every hallmark moment that is in your life, and especially if it's hard and if it's something that is out of your control, all you can do is grow and learn or die. Like if you don't grow and if you don't learn, you're going to be so miserable and you'll perish. Honestly, that's how I feel. And they went through that so much. And I do remember that. And I don't think they're aware of their own strengths. And I'm so grateful that that I could have been there to witness that. And now I can really realize what I've learned from how strong they are as a woman, how strong they had to be, especially growing up in Korea, especially in my family, witnessing everything they had to witness, how hard it must have been and how much growth they would have had to go. You know, yeah, they had support systems, but, you know, without me necessarily acknowledging it. And I don't know, it's just this overwhelming feeling of love that I have towards my family members and of course my cousins. I love them to death. And of course, I feel like I am slowly kind of making sense of my entire life, including my childhood and my 30s and my 20s, and I've been writing a lot. I've been starting to I divided them into 3 big sections. And, you know, I started writing down, and sometimes it's to me. I write to me sometimes, and I sometimes write towards something that doesn't exist. And sometimes I just write to an emotion. So I've been really trying to figure myself out and draw my own kind of map in that regard. I am just sobbing, aren't I? So yeah, a lot of it does make sense now of and I just had so much. If I do look back in my 20s, okay, let me look back in my 20s, bitch. My early 20s, I was so filled with insecurity and anxiety. Like, The number one thing was I wasn't pretty enough. Number two, I wasn't skinny enough. Number three, I'm not smart enough, like whatever. My early 20s was that. And I seeked validation in a very toxic way, in a very almost borderline self-harming way. And I spent some time like that. And after I did realize that getting validation was quite easy if you ask for it. Like if you write out, like flat out ask for it and be toxic. In my mid-20s, I think I spent most of the time abusing that validation and trying to get lost in that toxic cycle, just to forget anything and everything. And that is, I think, in my early to mid 20s, honestly, from my late teens, mid-late teens to my mid-late 20s, I think I have lost myself. I really do not kind of relate to the person that I was before. But I have, of course, understanding towards who I was. But it's this kind of situation. Like if me right now and me at 20 years old or 19 will go in a room and come out, one of us would be dead. Like it's that kind of situation, you know what I mean? Because we would fight. And you know, the decade that I was lost. And then after that, I think in my late 20s, I did, in my late 20s, I mean like late 20s, starting from like 28, I kind of realized that, that I can seek validation in a professional way, in a career way. So I kind of grinded myself into a corporate system and, I kind of realized that I do like structure. I do love structure. And in structure, I mean, if you have a day job, you're kind of forced to show up in the morning or forced to show up at work, right? Because that's what you signed up for. It's a contract. You sign a contract to show up and they pay you. So you just have to, right? It's your job. And by that, I mean structure. I have a reason to go out of the house. I have a reason to do something else. And then I have a reason to kind of come back home. So I have a routine now, which means structure to me. And before in my late 20s, I really, really just did stuff on my own. I did tutors. I did workshops, as a lot of you know. So I always moved to my own schedule, which I think was kind of it's just not for me, to be honest. But yeah, so I learned that in my late 20s, and now I think I'm slowly realizing that because I do have this structure, and I did realize that I thrive on this structured life with a schedule and with a reason to go out of the house every single day. I think I had more time to reflect on myself. And I'm very grateful that happened. And I don't know, it's just very overwhelming for me. It was just like, it just hit me like a boulder of how kind of willingly unconscious I was of all the love that I have received. And now slowly waking up to it and slowly kind of trying to sense my way back and, you know, crawling towards it. I feel a bit of guilt for not recognizing it in real time. And I feel this overwhelming feeling of gratitude and love, which made me sob. I don't know why it made me sob, but it's just, it's a very new feeling for me. And I just want to say, if you're struggling in your 20s, if you're out there struggling with your 20s, even struggling with your 30s, I feel I'm still struggling in a good way, though. I really want you to be conscious of the struggle that you have in your own way. Be conscious of it and really, really try to learn something out of it. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that could provide a foundation and soil for your growth even in the future. And that would be a very good foundation for you in the future. Don't doubt yourself too much. Because even my coworkers, when they're very young, right? they're in their mid-20s, and they're so full of self-doubt because, of course, you're in your 20s. Like, of course, you're still trying to, like, navigate your own life. Like, you always feel like you didn't have the most fun. Like, there's always that anxiety of, like, oh, I didn't have fun enough, or, oh, I didn't do good enough. Like, oh, I didn't, like, well, my other peers are doing this, and, like, that kind of thing. Girl, that really doesn't matter. It really, at the end of the day, it does not matter. I just want you to say that. I just want you guys, especially if you're struggling in your 20s or your 30s or anything, you're struggling and having a hard time. And I promise you, it's not going to be in vain. It's going to be a fertilizer for you to grow in the future. And I know, like, this is so cliche. This is cringy, I know, but I just don't want you to whip your reality and whip yourself and hate yourself too much about the given circumstances that you are in right now, because some things are out of your control. And if you didn't perish, even if you're not aware of it, you're learning and growing. And that could come later. So just give yourself a lot more credit, because you do deserve it. And yeah, I feel like everyone kind of needs that to pat themselves in the back. We made it. It's 2025 and you're watching this. We literally made it. Girl, 2029, hell. 2020, hell. 2021, 2022, hell. 2023, yeah. 2024, good. And now it's 2025 and y'all made it. What the fuck? Like, 2025? If you're watching this, you made it. Like, honestly, I don't know what to say. Like, if you didn't perish and you're here, you made it. You're doing it. Don't worry about it, girl or boy or man or whatever you wanna. Person or it, whatever. Like, if you're. Yeah. I feel like I'm getting to this, like, very, like, cringy, like, 30-year-old crystal loving meditation, like, having, like, oh, mindfulness and be spiritual, but you know what I mean, like, not in a cringy way. Just give yourself a bit more credit, because at the end of the day, all you have is yourself. And if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? But that's actually fucking true, dude. Like, I don't want to be cringy, but that's actually true. Like, kind of like, I know it's so hard to love yourself. Maybe it's just for me. For me, it was extremely hard to love myself. But, like, y'all, just stop being mean to yourself. Give yourself a little bit more breathing room, and be gentle. If you feel like a failure, you're not. Like, you're not. Trust me, I've done and been worse. So yeah, give yourselves a lot more credit today, at least if you watched this. I don't know, I know that not a lot of people, I mean, to be honest, I consider it a massive crowd. But if you watched this and if you're this far along, it can be just one thing. Just find a reason to just to kind of recognize yourself and give yourself a pat on the back and give yourself some credit. And just know that I love you guys, and it's not that cheesy kind of like, oh my God, subscribe to me, I love you. It's just that I do have a lot of love towards the people that watch me and the people that have stuck along and all the friendships that I've had. Yeah. I wish everyone that watches that can kind of create that space for themselves, even for just one day or just during this video, to recognize yourself. So, yeah, I feel like I've been ranting, but lots of love towards everyone. And thank you so much. And I will check in next week. And I'm going to try to not cry. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for watching. Be good. Bye.